You are a badass. Don't give up on you.
Welcome to the Juggling the Chaos of Recovery podcast Wellness Spot, where we focus on health and wellness and how you can reclaim your health and life today. You're in the right place if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you've been helping so many others. It's time to help yourself. In a time when health and wellness can be so confusing, I'll share my knowledge as a nurse and 20 years in wellness and help you navigate through. You will hear stories of people who have used the Shaklee products, including me, as they have truly been a game changer for health. And I'm here to tell you that it's never too late to pay attention to your health and how making a smart plan with natural choices can help you live your best life today. Well, welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Moira Gorski, and here we are back on our wellness spot. And so glad that you come back and listen and learn. It's really my mission is to just help to educate and share what I've learned over my last 20 years of being in the wellness industry and my background in nursing, and just share with you what I've learned through helping other people, helping myself, and just making some healthier choices in our lives so that we can really live vibrant lives and just really live our best life, as we would all say. So today, sometimes I bring you my friends and my clients, and today I'm bringing you one of them. What I love about my business, one of the things is that people will reach out and ask for help, and they become clients of mine, and then they become friends of mine along the way. And so Danielle has been and continues to be both of those to me. So I appreciate that. And today, Danielle Eisenach-Reichel is coming to us. The only sad part is that Danielle recently moved out of town, so I don't get to see you often. And so it's nice to see you here on Zoom, even though I know my listeners can't see us. But Danielle, thank you for joining me today to share your story. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Moira. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So Danielle she's going to share her story of her health journey, her weight loss journey. She came to me recently after she had lap band surgery, and I'm going to let her tell that story of why she reached out to me in regards to how Shaklee could help her possibly. And so let's start out I always say, let's start out with your story. Got you to what you were choosing to do with lap band, and kind of how it will move into how it led you to reaching out to me.
Sure. Happy to share. So back in 2009, we're going back a ways, I had decided to have lap band surgery. And at that time, I was well over 500 pounds. Mind you, I am a tall girl, so I'm just shy of 6 foot tall. So, but still 500 pounds is pretty large. And had lap band surgery. It was decently successful. I ended up losing over the course of a couple of years. At this point now, I'm down over 200 pounds. So it was a decently successful procedure. That said, since the surgery, I have had it removed, and we'll get to that part. But shortly after I had the surgery, I think it was 2011, we determined, I met Moira at some networking event, either through the Wheaton Chamber or through Believe, Inspire, Grow. And I was using some supplements that the weight loss doctors had prescribed me, and I was losing my hair, my nails were breaking. I wasn't feeling great. And so, I developed a relationship with Moira and learned a little bit about Shaklee and decided to give those vitamins a try, and found some great success. And so, through the years, my needs have changed a little bit, and I've still continued to use Shaklee. Actually, my husband uses Shaklee as well. He was a avid mountain biker, and we used a lot of their products for his race days and everything as well. And so Shaklee has been great, and working with Moira has been fantastic, because as my needs have changed, she's been able to help me with different products and different vitamins and such to help me on my nutrition journey. So it's really been wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And what I learned through, my experience working with you is that, again, these weight loss doctors, they prescribe certain supplements, a lot of times like liquid vitamins and different like chewables. I have another gal who I'm just speaking with who's is going through she's chosen to do, I think a gastric bypass. And so she was reaching out about chewable vitamins because, that the anatomy changes, right?
Right.
And you shared that the doctors want those because they want to make sure that the nutrients absorb, and they think that things that are liquid or chewable, they absorb better. And yet what you found is that it wasn't working for you.
Yeah,
with those
I just
particular
found
products.
their products were just inadequate. The quality of what they were prescribing and the quantity of vitamins that were in there just weren't meeting my nutritional requirements. Like I said, I was still losing my hair. My nails were very brittle. My skin was horrendous. And I didn't have the energy to do any of the things I wanted to do. At that time, I was in my early 30s and I was, still trying to be young. I was trying to keep up with my then boyfriend, my now husband, and, trying to mountain bike and dance and, run around with my dogs. And I just didn't have the energy to do it. And so it was really great. I feel like the universe brings you people when you need them. And you were definitely that blessing when I needed it. I found immediately when I switched over, and this sounds super hokey, that when I switched over to the Shaklee vitamins, just even like oranges to oranges, like, going from the vitamin C that the doctor had prescribed to the Shaklee vitamin C, and the vitamin B to the vitamin B, and the vitamin D to the vitamin D, like that's, 100% difference in how I felt, how my hair looked, how my skin, how my nails were. So the quality of what Shaklee was providing was tremendously better. And the price point was better. So if I can get better quality for a better price and have my body react better, I'm 100% in on that.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want all of that?
Right.
And so just to mention, like, so as you went through, so you had the lap band,
Right.
And as a result of all that weight loss, are you saying that you had less energy and, your hair, your skin looked worse and your hair looked, is that what you're saying, that as you continued on your weight loss journey before Shaklee? Because I asked that because I talked with another gal recently who has lost over 100 pounds. And I'm like, wow, you look great and you must feel great. And she goes, I don't really feel that great.
No,
I'm
feel
happy.
like shit.
Yeah.
No, you, I think because your brain and your body and your gut don't understand what's going on. Even now, my chiropractor laughs at me because she'll tell me to close my eyes and do things. And she's like, yeah, your body and your brain are not connected. They still have no idea where one another are. And so we're still working on things because my body still thinks I'm ginormous. Throughout the process, you have to continuously evaluate your nutritional needs. So when you have any of those weight loss surgeries, you're in a constant state of malnourishment. I don't care what they say. You physically cannot get the nutrients that your body needs, let alone for a person of that size. And that's why you lose weight, right? Because you're in a state of depletion. And so your body will cut from places that it thinks are extra, right? Your hair, your nails, your skin. It will keep your organs alive. And so that's why you don't have that energy that you need. And if you're not specifically getting enough protein and enough water, which is very hard to get, and enough vitamins, which is very hard to get because our food doesn't, and you can't eat enough quantity of food to get the vitamins that you need. it's really challenging. So you have to have some kind of nutritional supplementation. And so I found, even finding nutritionists that would work with you, because apparently being a post-bariatric patient athlete is somewhat of an oxymoron, because they expect that people who have those surgeries are having them because they're couch potatoes. And that wasn't the case for me. I was incredibly active. I was riding my mountain bike. I was out dancing. I was out doing all the things that I truly wanted to do, which is the reason I had that surgery. And I just didn't have the nutrition to be able to do it. So I found that, every 20 or 30 minutes, I was literally physically crashing. So being able to pull out any kind of nutrition, I would have, I had the Shaklee, the chews with me. I would
the energy chews. Yeah.
Yeah. I had the energy chews with me. I would have the mix put in my water bottle so that I would have enough electrolytes. I made sure I'd had my vitamins that morning, and then making sure I had snacks with me all the time. But really every 20 to 30 minutes, I would have to stop and eat.
Yeah. I remember we had conversations about that because I've had them with, more elite athletes or men that are working out a lot, and they're trying to lose weight, but they're working out and then going to play golf, and they're doing this. And it was a challenge, like, I don't think you're eating enough type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I remember we've had those conversations too. You were even saying, I don't think I'm getting enough protein, and
Screws
I have
with
to
your mind.
Yeah. Right. Well, and because I think we all think, well, I'm just making a generalization, but many of us think that if we're going to lose weight, we got to eat less. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's not about eating less. It's really about finding that balance. And it might be meaning that you're eating more, or you're eating more of the good things. And then what you said that I really want to point some light on is that sometimes we can't get all that we need from our food. And right. So choosing a high quality supplement like Shaklee that does the research and the testing to make sure that they're, as I tell people, that they're bioavailable, so that mm-hmm. vitamin C that you take is not just giving you all this vitamin C, like as you swallow it, but it's a sustained released pill. So it continues to shower that vitamin C in your system mm-hmm. throughout the next 8 hours. And that's really super great for anybody. But mm-hmm. for sure, for you who needs those extra nutrients to make sure that they're being, mm-hmm. Being absorbed, because they're filling in the gaps where as I say, Absolutely. Where your diet falls short or your nutrition falls short.
Absolutely.
And I really encourage people, because I have another friend who went through gastric bypass, and she just recently hired a nutritionist who's really, because she says, I got to figure this out. I mean, she's lost the weight and she feels pretty good. She's taking the Shaklee vitamins, but she goes, I'm still not like really in tune with my food, or like, I got to just have a different relationship with food and eating.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need guidance.
Well, it's hard because, you're having this surgery, which is restricting the amount of food you can eat. It's totally messing with your head, right? Because your body is telling you, I can only have 8 ounces of food, right? Which is the size of your fist or less, right? I can have a cup of food, but you're doing physical activity, which is requiring you to nutritionally have more. And finally, I got to a point where I had to actually have my lap band removed, because it was physically trying to kill me. My lap band actually locked down on me. So I was no longer able to get nutrition, and I ended up with Barrett's esophagus. So I was getting sick very frequently. I pretty much every time I ate, I got sick. I couldn't get nutrition in, and I got sick a lot for a couple of years because I was stubborn and didn't go into the doctor because I felt ashamed that I wasn't able to continue achieving the weight loss, even though I was busting my ass at the gym. I am an Orange Theory junkie. I go 3 to 4 days a week. I love the gym and I bust my ass, but I wasn't achieving the results that I thought I should be getting. And I knew it had to do something with my nutrition. So finally, when I did go into the doctor, he's like, oh, well, it's because your band is locked up. And so I had to have it removed. And when I had it removed, the doctor said, okay, what are we going to replace it with? And I said, no, we're not. Like, I'm working out, I'm eating well, I don't need anything. And he said, well, you're just going to get fatter again. And I said, F you, I'm not coming back here anymore.
Right.
And like, respectfully, I appreciate the work you've done. You've gotten me to where I am. I can handle it from here.
Peace out.
And yeah, I mean, then I had a really frank conversation with you. I remember about, okay, so I'm doing this on my own now. What do I need? And I think at that point we added in the probiotic, and I was having some migraines because of the nutritional differences. And so we added some magnesium as well, which helped completely. And so, since then I've dropped 100 pounds. And so it's so important that the point of what you said with your friend, you have to get in tune with your body, and you have to understand and respect it. And you have to respect food for what it is. It's fuel. And there's a woman, Christina, I'm going to butcher her last name, Montalvo, and she is incredible. She talks about intuitive eating, and that has been one of the best things that I have learned. So, I think between that and keeping up with your vitamins and, moving your body, that's really, there's a lot to it.
Right. There's
so much to it.
Yeah. And it's kind of like this whole puzzle. And I interviewed a gal, Victoria, who we talked about intuitive eating, and man, I learned a lot from. I wanted to have her on, and I know Christina, and I should reach out to her. Maybe she'd like to come on.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. She's a little spitfire, and really so passionate about what she does and how she helps people. So thanks for the reminder. I'll reach out to her. But that intuitive eating, it just really, again, I learned a lot from that. I reached out to her because I wanted to learn more about it. I've heard my daughter mention that with intuitive eating, with eating disorders and things like that. And I just, again, I don't want people to listen to this like, oh, this is a big weight loss thing, because it's not. It's about sometimes we need a little bit of help, and so we can rely on other people or doctors or a procedure, things like that for help. And what I love about you is that you continue to learn, to get better. And now you're like, okay, you know what? I've learned enough. I haven't learned it all, but I've learned enough that I want to do this on my own now. And so you're like, okay, I'm going to learn it on my own. And yet you're still working with others to learn and all that, because again, sometimes and this is what I'm hearing, sometimes what we do, you, me, others, it's sometimes what we choose to do, but it kind of messes us up, either physically or mentally. And so if we want to continue to improve, and that's, I think, one thing we both love about each other is we're just always pressing to get better and learn more, is that we've just keep asking for help, keep learning and tweaking things. And like we talked before we went on air, we talked about the Me+ology, which I did a section on. You can go back and listen to the science of Me+ology. But Me+ology is a really cool thing that Shaklee now developed that talks about matching up nutrients, matching you up with really the nutrients that you need. And again, our needs change. And if you can rely on a company that has that tool, we're just excited, for you to take a look at that and see maybe some of those things have changed. And so you need some different nutrients. You need to tweak some things along, your journey here.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that each of us is unique, and your recipe for success is going to be different than mine. And we all screw up and we all have to have a little bit of grace for ourselves, and we all have to just keep learning and figuring it out. And what you and I were talking about before, needs change. Like I turned 40 this year. And so, my skin is different now than it was. And, I'm in that pre-menopause stage. And so what does that look like? And so as your needs change, what's great is, having those conversations with the people who care about you and who are helping you on your journey, and, learning from others who have been there, and just continuing to evolve and listening to your body and trusting yourself and doing what's best for you, and what I love about that is, you, and I appreciate this about you have never once been like, nope, you have to do this. You've always been like, well, here's what I would recommend, and here's what options are. And, here's what I would expect would happen. And then we talk about stuff, and I absolutely love that. And it's been wonderful. Yeah. So I appreciate that so much about you.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, again, that's what I try to do, is just educate, and then you choose, right? But encouraging people to choose. And again, knowing that health isn't all about taking a vitamin. Health isn't all about going to the gym or about what we eat, but it's like physical, mental, spiritual. It's like all of that wrapped into one. And we've got to take a look at all of that. Because again, another gal that I know, a client of mine, she had the surgery, but she said, I never got clear about like my addiction. So she had some drinking issues, which she didn't realize, but then all of a sudden she couldn't, her metabolism of her alcohol changed. And so she had to get real about her drinking. And, again, we could talk for hours about this, but again, sometimes people choose something for the quick fix, right? Like, hey, I'm going to do this, but it doesn't, or they get divorced, because, it's not working. And they think the grass is greener on the other side. And so then they go over there, but they've never really worked on those issues underneath it all, And that's what she was finding, is she had to get real about some other things besides just her eating, when so.
It's a lot of work, for sure.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, and but certainly well worth it, right? Yeah. We were going to talk a little bit about if you're comfortable with it and if it makes sense, just again, because I believe I know that there's like because you talked about it a little bit, kind of like that mind-body connection, the brain and the gut connection. And I find that really intriguing that, like you said it that way, like you're not even really connected, but I feel like it's really connected. And our nutrition, again, is so important to the way that we feel physically, but also mentally. And so did you have any kind of issues along the way as you had the lap band or no lap band, or, did you have any kind of like, because again, this is kind of a mental health podcast. We talk about, we talk real about, again, mental health struggles as well as physical struggles. Did you have any of those kind of along this journey of better health?
Absolutely. Every single day, my entire life.
Okay.
I think like most women across the world. Yeah. So when you are qualifying for lap band, you have to go through a mental health evaluation. You have to go through a psych eval, because they want to make sure that you are mentally prepared for the changes that are about to happen. And they want to make sure that you have a solid support system in place. I tricked the therapist. Because I was unhappily married at the time. My ex-husband was a wonderful man. We just weren't meant for one another. And I knew that me having this surgery was going to be like the nail in the coffin, because he wasn't going to make the changes necessary for us to go forward. Because what happens is when you have the surgery, you're making healthy changes. And if your partner isn't on board, then you're on diverging roads, right? And so, and that's exactly what happened. We were on diverging roads. So as our roads diverged, that's fine. We ended up divorced, and I met my forever husband. And Steve is amazing. And he has been incredibly supportive and has been encouraging and wonderful through all of this. He's probably my biggest cheerleader and also my biggest pain in the ass when it comes to all of this. So the mental health piece, you are constantly questioning things, because if you're having a weight loss surgery, are we allowed to swear on here, Moira?
Well, you already have, so.
Okay. To be honest, it's kind of a mind fuck. Because you have to eat, but you can only eat a little tiny bit. And like I said, I wanted to go do these big things and to keep up with the people that I loved that were doing these big active things. And I couldn't. And I was angry. I was so mad at my body. I was so mad at myself because I couldn't do it. And I wanted to so bad. And I felt like I had put in the work to be able to do it. And I had gone to such extremes to be able to do it. And I still couldn't. And I was mad. God, I was mad. So mad.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I can tell it touches you. And I've known you for so many years, and I know that you're a hard worker, and you bust your tail and you're working hard. And it's gotta be so frustrating because like you said, you put in the work. I think of my daughter. I put in the work, it doesn't seem to make sense. Why isn't it working? And again, we're just getting real, right? We're just getting real here.
Yeah.
That's and what I love about you, my friend, is that you don't give up.
Yeah.
You're still mad, but again, you're keeping on.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of cool though, because like at the same time, like there are really great, awesome things. So I joined Orange Theory about 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, because I wanted to see if I could do it. And at that time I was over 400 pounds. Didn't know if I could even do it. I was by far the biggest kid in the class, we'll say. And they were so supportive and amazing and incredible. And I found my inner athlete. They allowed me to push myself, to try things, to go at my own pace. I only had to compete against me. I only had to keep up with me. And the family that I developed there was remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's amazing. The things that I found that I was able to do with my body that I didn't know I could do physically. I mean, it is mental. It is completely mental. I mean, I just went and bought some new clothes this weekend. I was at Target and I asked this lady, I picked up a sweater, a hot pink sweater. I was really excited about it, but I wasn't sure if I could wear it because it's hot pink and I'm 40. And I'm like, okay. I said, can I ask your opinion? And she was there with her husband. And I said, what do you think of this sweater? Can I pull it off? And her husband was like, yeah, you can definitely wear that, right? And she looked at me and she goes, well, the color looks really good with your eyes, but I'm not really sure about the size. How tight are you comfortable with? And let me just tell you, I wasn't asking about the size. And I was like, whoa, all right. Okay. And so then I said, okay, well, thanks. I really appreciate it. And I walked away and I thought about putting the sweater back and I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to take it home. I really like the sweater. I'm going to take it home. I brought it home. I put it on. It's big on me. So, but it's in your head, right?
Yeah. Well, we talked about it right before we went on here about my dancing. I mean, you want to really get real about me and walking into a dance studio 3.5 months ago, like I could start to cry because it's everything you said. I'm learning how to connect with my inner self, I'm learning to move my body differently. And I have a supportive family around me all of a sudden who believe in me that are like, you should do it. Like, you're great. You can do it. They pour that belief in you. And like, what a wonderful feeling that is, right? Yeah. That when you have that, when you find that and it just helps you, like you said, sometimes it sucks and we're angry and it's in our head and it's like all that stuff. But I'm here to tell you that we don't have to, but it would be really great if we just got out of our own way, because I'm just saying that from my own personal experience and the mindset work that I have done the last few weeks. Like, I am the one that's standing in my own way. And I think that happens with so many of us. Like,
It's typically the case.
It's typically the case, right? Because we have all these people saying, yay, yay. And I'm saying, oh, but it's so hard. Oh, I'm not really good enough. And I really don't, it's a lot of money. Do I really need to pay that? I really don't deserve to. I'm really not worthy. It's like all of this crap comes up and you're like, what? I just decided to go work out, right? Or I just decided to go dance. Like, what is all of this stuff? I was crying in the dance studio a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I've cried at the gym many a time.
Yeah.
A number of times I PR'd, going faster than I thought I could, lifting harder than I could,
And I'm here to again say, like, how did you feel when you did that?
Incredible. Like to be 40 years old and have my fastest mile time in my entire life, like faster than I was in high school. Like to this morning, the coach called time on our run and I hadn't hit my mile yet. So I kept going until I hit my mile. Like I was the kid that skipped gym class. It's all in your head.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's all in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. And and what you said too, is that it's not about competing against the other guy. It's about competing against yourself.
Well, sometimes it's about competing with the person next to you.
Well, yeah,
sometimes you want to go faster.
Right. And sometimes that's really helpful, right? To see that.
Sometimes
and you can have that, right. You can have that inspiration out there and that can be
inspiration. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But again, you do it
you need them standing next, like the number of times that, my friends would come up on the tread next to me and like help me achieve something, or, we would help one another out. It's amazing.
Yeah.
When you can't be the one in your head that's getting it done, to have that support system.
Yeah.
It's critical.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just want to kind of wrap it up by all of that, by just saying, as you've listened to this and I've talked through this, again, you and I are both like, come on, we're both driven, ambitious women. And we would both say to somebody, come on, just do it. You said that to me just earlier, just do it. But again, here to say that it's never too late, right? To start taking care of yourself. Absolutely. It's never too late to correct some mistakes that you made. And you know what, usually it's probably a good idea to find some help. And we don't have to call it help. We can call it support. We can call somebody that cares about you, somebody that believes in you before you can really believe in yourself. And get educated, because again, that's what I work to do, is to educate people on some smart choices that you can make. And I'm doing it, and I'm no big expert, like I'm at the end of the road, like I know everything. I'm just maybe a little farther along. I've just learned a little bit more, and I continue to learn and get real about things and just try to help people. So I'm so glad that you came to, I love to just chat with you and talk about deeper things than just, this and that. And also just, again, share life with you. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing. And any last words for our listeners, of what you'd kind of like to share about your journey?
Well, I really, really appreciate it. My friends would be really disappointed if I didn't share my favorite quote. And that is, "You are a badass. Don't give up on you."
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you, Danielle Eisenach-Reichel, for joining me today from Texas. And I miss you, my friend, but it's just really great to be connected here. And I'm just grateful for you that you shared your story and that you're on this journey with me of life and wellness and health, and really appreciate you. And I know that the listeners can appreciate your story today too. So again, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Again, come back for daily doses of health and wellness and getting real about how we can make some healthy choices in our life so that we can live our best life. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening. If you like this podcast, head over to iTunes and leave me a 5-star review. Share it with others, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. I've got a tribe over on Facebook, so head over there and search for Juggling the Chaos of Recovery Podcast Tribe. And do you know somebody who has a story to share, a story of recovery and hope? please let me know, as I'd love to feature them as a guest on one of these next upcoming podcasts. And perhaps you're looking for a community of like-minded, collaborative, and supportive people who cheer each other on as we strive to improve our lives. If that sounds like something you've been looking for, schedule some time with me. You'll find the links in the show notes. Let's talk, and let me help you find your way. And I'm here to tell you that you're worth it.